You ready? Champy. "10,000 words swim round my head, 10 million more in books written beneath my bed. And I wrote or read them all when searching in the swamps. Still can't find how to hold my hands. And I know you need me in the next room over. I'm stuck in here all paralyzed. 4 months I got myself in ruts, too much time spent in mirrors framed in yellow walls. Ain't it like most people? I'm no different. Like to talk on things we don't know about. Well, ain't it like most people? I'm no different. Like to talk on things we don't know about. Do, 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 Good day, good people. It's a little moist in here. It's a little moist in here. Do you feel it? Can you feel it? I'm a little... We're going to talk about artificial intelligence tonight. I don't know if you've heard this term. There's intelligence. We've got that. And then they figured out a way to wire some computers together in such a way that it's like that, but not with machines. So they call it machine learning. I don't think machines learn. You program machines. We're the humans here. We've got the intelligence. You tell the machine what you want it to do. The machine doesn't tell us what it wants to do. So we're gonna explore that tonight. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure out the mathematics behind it. We're gonna optimize some tensor processors. We've got engineers and mathematicians from Google that hang out here. We're gonna probably order a couple of H100 GPUs from NVIDIA. Is it in video or is it what? Why do they spell it like that? And do we want an A100 or an H100? Because I think an H100 is kind of the cheap, shitty thing, and then we'll get an A100. Anyway, we're going to use all of the different libraries from NVIDIA. Thank you very much there, Forever Hooked. Very kind of you. And then we're gonna learn programming. We're gonna learn. There's this thing. There's a paper out called "Attention Is All You Need," and it's about insecure theatricals. Kids that grew up just wanting attention, wanting attention, wanting attention. And then they went to theater school. And then out of theater school, they moved to New York City and they started and ran a theater company. And after 4.5 years, they got burned out. And so they decided to write themselves an acting career. So they wrote 7 screenplays in 2 years. No, that's not what that paper was about. That's my life. Anyway, but attention is all you need is this paper that introduces this thing called the transformer. So we're gonna learn what a transformer is, and then we're gonna go collect all of the information that humanity has ever put on the internet, and we're just gonna gather it. We're gonna stick it in a box, and we're gonna put it in a transformer, and it's gonna embed it. And from what I understand, we're gonna take all of those documents, and they're gonna be shattered into trillions and trillions of fragments. Yes, Brandon.
Hey, before we that all sounds amazing, but before we do all of that, could we answer Ginger J's question on TikTok?
Oh, yes. Hi, Ginger J. What's happening? Did you have an actual question about actual AI? Oh, wait, I lost the pin. Someone put the pin back up there, please. Okay, can you comment? I use ChatGPT. How do I get it to stop lying and make up answers that sound good? Okay, so good question. And all that horse hockey I was just talking about before, that was in the neighborhood of what actually happened with creating this stuff. Okay, so there's a couple of things. One of the things that we all have to grapple with right now is that the way large language models, ChatGPT, Claude, are we good? Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, wait, I got to move this up here. Hang on a second. The way these things work, hang on, I got to turn on my air too. It's a little hot. It's a little hot. The way these things work is not the way computers have ever worked in history. They used to be called, I think, probabilistic or deterministic. Computers used to be deterministic. You would program them, you would put logic in them, and they would always behave the same way every single time. Large language models don't do that. And the nature of how they were built means that, for one thing, they can be creative. Which, one of the things that you'll hear about that people will say about AI is, well, it's just a probability calculator, and it can never be creative, and it can never come up with an original thought. I actually don't agree with that. I think it can. I think the way they work is very similar to the way our brains work. So there are some cases when hallucinations is what you're referring to is called hallucinations. There are some cases where hallucinations can actually be beneficial, right? And that would be if you're doing creative development. You want some story ideas, and it will be creative, and it won't just give you the same answer every time. It'll give you something different every time. So there are some cases where that's a good thing. There are other cases, if, say, you're trying to research something and you want facts, and the large language model, what I call it is mansplaining as a service. It mansplains to you. It gives you an answer confidently, even if it doesn't know what it's talking about, right? Like every good man in your life. And that can be really frustrating. Now, there are things you can do to mitigate it. There are things that you can do that make it better. So let me talk through a couple of them. And I'll talk. This came from Andrej Karpathy, who was one of the co-founders and the chief scientist at OpenAI, and he was describing. Someone had asked him the question about why large language models hallucinate, and he used a mathematical example. And I'm not going to give you the math. I have an acting degree. I don't know about math, but he was talking about if you ask about a particular mathematical conjecture, right, a particular mathematical challenge, and you just ask ChatGPT about that challenge, it will basically go look at everything it's been trained on, which is essentially everything that's ever been on the internet. And it will sort of cobble together an answer for you, and it will answer you. And very often it'll be wrong. And he was describing why that might be. So let's say you've got this mathematical formula and you just ask about it. And he said, well, in ChatGPT are not only the professor that came up with that conjecture, that formula, and the answer to it, but every student that he ever taught, and every student that ever tried to attempt it, every student that ever read about that conjecture. And so not only is the correct answer in the training set, so is every other wrong answer in the training set. And so the way I like to think of what they call the latent space, think of the latent space as you take all of the knowledge of humanity, you fracture it into like tiny little shards of glass, and they all get sort of clustered into 1,000-dimensional mathematical space. And it's just this massive ball of fragments of knowledge. And when you put in a prompt, it extracts out of that these little fragments and sort of stitches them back together for you. It's actually quite remarkable the way it works. If you think about it like the Grand Canyon, if you take all these shards of glass and you dump them into the Grand Canyon, if you just ask it about that mathematical formula, it'll look at all the shards of glass in all of the Grand Canyon. But if you narrow the latent space by providing it additional context, I want you to act like a mathematics, a polymath, professor that specializes in this branch of mathematics. And I'm particularly interested in this particular formula. And I really only want to hear from, the most experts in the world about this formula. What you're doing is every time you add context like that, you're going into an increasingly small sub-canyon of the Grand Canyon. And you're cutting out all that other noise. So one of the best ways to make ChatGPT less bullshitty is to provide it more context. So if you just say, write me an article about X, it's going to write you a shitty article. If you say, hey, I'm an expert in zucchini gardening, and I live in Denver, Colorado, and I've got a raised bed, and we're in our 3rd year of gardening, and I put in a zucchini plant, and one of them I fertilized and one of them I didn't, and for whatever reason, the plant that I didn't fertilize is doing better. And I want you to write me a LinkedIn article about zucchini gardening in raised beds. All of a sudden, you've narrowed sort of the world that it's going to draw from into this much smaller place. Does that make sense? So that's a thing. Now, you can also use different models. Let me share. I'm sharing my screen. I'm going to share it in a different way here for a second. Okay. There's another way you can do this. So if you haven't played with switching models, in ChatGPT, you have these different things called models, and they behave very, very differently. And they are very, 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 very confusing because a bunch of engineers named them, and they did it really poorly. So you have this thing called 4.0. Then you have a thing called 0.3, TikTok pin. Here's your article, over fertilized. That's funny. I couldn't see the bottom of it. TikTok has this weird interface where whenever someone pins a comment, I can read the first 2 lines. And if I want to expand it, it always does other shit. I don't actually expand it about once every 5 times. Anyway, you got this thing called 4.0. This is the base model that most people use. That's the default. I would argue that most people that use ChatGPT never touch these models. 0.3 is not lower than 4.0. It's actually a completely different kind of model. And it's called a reasoning model. See, it says uses advanced reasoning. And then you've also got 0.4 mini and 0.4 mini high. So 0.3 is the kind of Mac Daddy reasoning model, And then O4 mini and O4 mini high are smaller versions of the next evolution of O3. But they're kind of the smaller previews of what's coming with O4 Pro or whatever the big O4 is. But they're not the same at all. And there's no way you would know that. There's no way you would understand that. But what O3 does, when it talks about reasoning, what happens with 4.0 is you ask it a question and it gives you an answer. So even if you do all of the context providing that I gave you, it can still get it wrong. What O3 does is it actually thinks about it and talks to itself before it answers you. So if you ask it a question about raised bed zucchini gardening, it will say, oh, the user wants to, talk about zucchini gardening. Maybe I should go out and I should do some research. Let me go out and research some websites about gardening and that particular thing and understanding about different species of zucchini. And it will just talk to itself and go do research on the web and think about it and analyze stuff. Sometimes it'll even use what are called tools, where it will write Python applications and generate spreadsheets and do math and all sorts of weird shit. So that's a next way to reduce hallucinations is use a reasoning model. They can still hallucinate. Don't be clear of that. And then the final thing that you can do is you can there's an option in ChatGPT called deep research. So if you combine O3, which is this reasoning engine, with deep research, it will really dig deep and research deep and check its work and things like that. And it gets better and better and better. Even that can still hallucinate. So you're not going to completely eliminate hallucinations until these models probably hit another generation or 2 or 3. And even then, maybe not. Just by the nature of how they are. Okay. If I've trained in 4.0, does any of that transfer to the other models? What do you mean if you've trained? Like if you've put in custom instructions and you're doing projects and things like that? Yes. The memory. So a couple of things are happening. In ChatGPT, if you go to your settings, go to a section called personalization, and you'll see a memory section. And you'll also see custom instructions. So if you go into custom instructions are you're telling ChatGPT what you want it to do. One of the things you could say in custom instructions, I don't know if it would work, but it might, is say, I want you to do everything you can to reduce hallucinations. So before you answer me, check your work. Now, I don't think that'll work with 4.0, but that might work with O3. So custom instructions can be good. But you've also got reference saved memories and reference chat history. So as of about 3 or 4 months ago, ChatGPT has access to your past, I think it's year of chats. And so that applies to all models. So you can be in a 4.0 conversation and you can flip over to the O3 reasoning engine and just keep asking in the same conversation. There are some things that mess it up, like if you generate images within it, that used to mess it up, things like that. Memories, light the memories like the corners of my mind. Everybody now. Memories like the corners of my mind. Oh, and by the way, speaking of which, let me share one other thing here, people. Let me share another thing. Look at that. You see that right there? Next week, starting on Monday, I'm doing a 5-day back to basics crash course where kind of all the silly talk I did at the beginning about how large language models work. On Monday, we're going to talk about AI, why it's a big deal, how it compares to the early days of the World Wide Web, how large language models work, how diffusion models, the image generation models work. And so that's Monday. Tuesday is going to be a deep dive into ChatGPT. So all the stuff I'm talking about here, we'll do hands-on hour with ChatGPT and unpack a bunch of stuff. Wednesday is going to be a creative day where we're going to play with image generation models, video, music, audio, things like that. Thursdays, we're going to bring it all together. We'll do some business use cases, figuring out how do you determine which model to use when. And then Friday will be an open-ended Q&A. All right, so that's next week here on TikTok from 8 to 8:30 Mountain Time will be a pre-show where we'll just hang out. And then starting at 8:30, we're going to turn off TikTok and just go completely to YouTube. And let me see. I think I have these slides, Brandon. Let me grab them. Oops. So here is the YouTube channel. Wait, add to stage. There we go. Oh, that's producer Brandon. Wait, why did I not? Hang on, people. I guess I just didn't share. There we go. So there's the YouTube channel. If you're just on TikTok right now, Learning Lab-AI is the YouTube channel. So 8:30 next week, 8:30 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is where we'll be streaming live. Okay, so you can zap that QR code if you want to do that, or just type in at Learning Lab-AI on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Which other slide? This other slide? And then the other thing that you should do, if you haven't yet, is you should join the AI Salon. So if you go to community.thesalon.ai, that's going to take you to our community site. We have a special channel in there just for the AI Learning Lab called the Irregulars. But there's all sorts of cool stuff in there. And all sorts of amazing people. And we talk about this journey of AI literacy, we call it, where you play first, mindfully create, and generously lead. And if you're just getting started with AI and trying to figure this out, and you're asking questions like, hey, why the hell does this thing lie so much? Everybody's dealing with it. Everybody's dealing with the jank, I call it, right? Embrace the jank. These tools are remarkable and weird. Computers just have not ever behaved as unpredictably as these things behave. They've also never been able to do things quite as remarkable as what these things can do. They are, they are just on the verge of magic. They are all math, but it's math magical, as we call it here. All right. So go join the salon, and you'll see when you get there, there's kind of a 7-stage welcome process. The second one is introduce yourself. So go introduce yourself. You should go do that. All right. Let me change my sharing one more time. And then we're going to do a little movie night. We are going to do a little movie night. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Unless it's boring. And then we'll do something else. All right, so I'm going over to the AI Salon, and I am jumping down to the Irregulars channel. So down the left-hand side here, right under Clubs and Hubs, the first one is the Irregulars. And we've got a little image from Steve-O. It's a little moist in here tonight. Steve-O capturing the essence of the early part of the broadcast this evening. Thank you, Steve. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. What else we got in here? What'd Claire have? Oh, a version of Black Betty for Kyle to practice. Very nice. It's funny. Our sales guy for Storyvine has the Tom Selleck mustache now. It's pretty funny. These are all cute. All right. Groovy. So, in one of those, well, I didn't have that on my bingo card for 2025. I don't know if y'all know the comedian Theo Vaughn. Very funny dude, but very unassuming, a very weird kind of comedy. I could see a lot of people not getting his comedy, but he's like a super genuine dude. He got and so he's been kind of elevating his stature on the, comedians, they all sort of go on each other's podcasts. He's been doing a lot of podcasts and getting a lot of interesting interviews, and it looks like he's got this new higher production value podcast called This Past Weekend. And he just did an interview with Joaquin Phoenix, and it was really trippy and weird because he's weird and Joaquin Phoenix is weird, and they just kind of weirded out with each other. He got an interview with Sam Altman. And so I figure we'll watch some of it tonight because it's fucking odd. It's just odd. Now, if anyone's got any specific questions on AI, I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to demo shit. I'm happy to go deal with the dog. Hold, please. Can't. Stop. Calm down. Champ just saved us from the evildoers. The evildoers out on the street. We're safe now. All right. Sharon Crawford. No, he did not. This is a 90-minute interview with Sam Altman. I saw a couple of the clips. At one point, Theo Vaughn goes, it's actually, you tech people are weird. And he points out Peter Thiel as this really weird. He goes, is he like an evil tech overlord? And Sam Altman's like, yeah, we're actually really good friends. And Theo Vaughn was like, oh, we don't have to talk about him. Oh my God. So anyway, I figure we'll play a little. All right. Okay. Fantastic. Get off my lawn. All right. Let's go. Let's just watch it. We'll watch it for a bit. Let's just stop it right there. This totally feels like the Bryant Gumbel Katie Turek interview in 1994 or 5. Where they're like, what's that little the A with the circle around it? I think it's about. What is this internet thing anyway? And he's like, he's a big player in AI. Oh, no audio? Oh, that's because I'm sharing it wrong. Because I'm a loser, baby. Why don't you sue me? Yeah. Fantastic. Hey, what we're going to do here is we're going to need you to go on ahead and start that over so the good people on the YouTube there can see the beginning of this thing. You see what I'm saying? All right. It's not the tab. What? I think this is right.
Yes, it's right. I was saying it. We need to turn this into the Tab Learning Lab.
Oh, that was comedy. I thought I was actually getting an actionable note. No, I was just being made fun of. Okay, here we go.
Today's guest is, dude's a straight up tech lord. Let's be honest. He's one of the leaders, the world leaders in the development of AI. He started Open AI, which is known for having ChatGPT. We had a fascinating chat about the pros and cons, the fears and hopes, everything I could learn about artificial intelligence and where we're headed. TBD, baby. Today's guest.
I mean, this oddly feels like a big deal to me. It does. Like, Theo Vaughn's got an audience that probably ain't deep into AI. Like, just the way he talked about it, just the way he pronounced it. ChatGPT
is Mr. Sam Altman, and I'm very thankful for his time.
You know, we had a residential architect do this office. We wanted it to feel like someone's like really comfortable, like country house or something like that.
Yeah.
Not like the big corporate, like sci-fi castle.
Yeah, that's what I was like a little bit like, oh, is it going to be, will there be a drawbridge? Will we be uploaded into a suite? Like what will happen to us?
We don't want that.
Yeah.
We're going for like residential.
Yeah, I was like, how do we even get through the firewall? How many like hit points will we need to get through? It got very Dungeons and Dragons in some of my like imagination sometimes.
Yeah, we want people to feel like super comfortable and tried to get pretty far in that direction.
It feels like it. Your staff's very sweet, nice people. You have, thanks for hanging out, man.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, I haven't seen you since I fell out of my chair.
You fell out of the chair at the inauguration. That was really like quite a way to meet you.
Yeah. I felt so embarrassed. And you were one of the faces that I looked up and saw, and I was like, God. And that was my first moment, like AI built us a better chair, to be honest with you.
And you did nothing, right? You were just sitting there and it just collapsed.
Nothing.
I remember that.
And it was just so embarrassing. I was like, oh, of all people, me. And here I am in this place. And
I think it was perfect because everybody's got to have some story. When people are like, oh, what was the inauguration? Like everybody's got to have some story to tell.
Yeah.
And that was an incredible story for us all to tell.
That's a good point. I do remember looking at people for help, though. And oddly, your eyes, I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, Danielle. Yeah, this is the Today Show moment of 2025. It totally is. It totally is. Yeah, and Brandon, they've had this set at OpenAI the whole time. They could be doing non-awkward product launches on this set. Yeah, they could.
Could help. You did look like a beacon of help in the distance.
I tried to help.
You have a baby. You have a new child.
It is. There have been like a lot of experiences in life where everyone tells you something's going to be great. And then it's like, okay, the people are right. The consensus is right. It's like even better than I thought it was going to be. But this has been the strongest example of that ever. Like I knew it was going to be great. And it's like way, way better. It's impossible to describe. There's nothing I can say that's not like very cliche. And it's totally amazing.
What is like one of your, and you have a young boy?
Yeah.
And what's something like that you think is like neat, or like what's one thing that kind of like is bringing you joy with it?
Watching the speed with which he like learns new things or gains new capabilities.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. It's like every day it's like, oh man, he just couldn't do that before. And now he's like grabbing stuff and passing it between his hands, and getting to like watch it day to day is just an amazing rate of change.
You know what's amazing is I feel like his insight as to what it's like watching his baby develop and gain new knowledge while he's spent the past 7 or so years getting machines to do that and watching them progress. That's a fascinating insight.
And then I don't like, I realize it's like,
how is Sam Altman odder than Theo Vaughn? I love you all. Oh my God. You can make money off ChatGPT.
I realize that like everything about babies are very finely tuned over.
And we're not going to necessarily watch this whole thing. It's 90 minutes, but I figure we'll watch it and get some interesting insights here. I just know that he's going to ask Sam questions that no one else will ever ask him. It's just such an odd pairing.
A long period of evolution to make us like love them and be fascinated by them. And it's like a neurochemical hack, but I love it. It's great. It's so strong. It's so intense.
So it's really like almost like a coffee for your heart or something, kind of?
I don't even know how to find. I've tried to like come up with an analogy to tell, because now I'm like telling everybody you got to have a lot of kids. It's really important.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for an analogy of what to explain. And then I always just say like, I don't know how to explain this. It is the best thing I've ever done by far. I feel like a completely changed person. And I was like thinking the other day, like there used to be all these other, like at this point, all I do is work and hang out with my family. I don't like really get to do a lot of hobbies anymore.
Silver Fox, how old is the baby? 4.01 months?
Right.
It's busy time at work. I don't get to hang out with my friends that much. And I don't, there were like all these things where people tell you like, oh, you got a baby coming. You got to go, take that spontaneous international trip because you're not gonna be doing that again for a long time. And I was like, oh, that is kind of sad. In practice, you don't do it that often. Or I at least didn't do it that often. And I don't miss it at all. I like remember that used to be a possibility. Now I can see that's not going to be a possibility for a long time. And I'm thrilled with the trade.
You're moved on.
I'm so happy.
How old is your child?
4 months.
Oh, that's a funny, like at 5 or 6 months, they start to get like fun and you can like, they're still like, they can't go anywhere, but they're like intrigued and stuff. They start to like smile or process more. I don't know how you guys say it, but
yeah, he's totally like turned on now.
Yeah.
Like, really aware, understands things. It's super cool.
I have a thought sometimes that this will be one of the last, like maybe 40 years that we conceive children in the body. Did you have any thoughts about that?
I've definitely heard a lot of people say that.
Okay, that's the best fucking question ever. This is the last 40 years or so that children are going to be conceived inside the body. And Sam's like, I
haven't thought about it hard myself, but yeah, I guess it does make sense. Like, I guess that does make sense.
Like, God, you were in your mom's butt. It's crazy,
It is crazy.
You pervert or whatever. Like, I think in the future, it'll be kind of done like in a
vat or something.
Yes. In like a nice vat. You can go see it on the weekends or whatever. And like,
doesn't that just feel like off to you? Like, I can totally intellectually like understand that may be the better way to do it.
Oh yeah. It feels way off to me. I was trying to,
Look at Sam Altman trying to go like, dude, like, don't go this dark. Sam Altman's defending humanity here.
I thought you would like it. I
thought you would like it. Theo Vaughn trying to suck up to what he thinks Sam Altman is. Oh my God, this is great.
I mean,
like, or I thought that would be like a thought. Like, I guess like that for me, that's one of like my futuristic thoughts,
Like, I can totally accept that will be what everybody does, and that it's easier, and we can like make it healthier for the child and the mother.
Yes.
It's the mother doesn't take the health risk, but man. So intellectually, I can say that, and then like emotionally, it feels like something is off.
Feels
like
off.
That, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because then the family, like on the weekends, the parents would come and like tinker on the glass or whatever, or the dad would put like a, like a Go Falcon sticker on the thing, or
right.
What I'm saying? People would like decorate it all up or write little messages on there.
I think there's another take I have on all of this is that in this world that we're heading to of like crazy sci-fi technology becoming reality, the sort of like the deeply human things will become the most precious, sacred, valued things. And that we'll really care about like the.
See, I deeply agree with that. I do think that AI is going to push us to this weird place where like human interactions become elevated. They become more important. It's interesting to hear Sam do that. What a fascinating take from Theo Vaughn. Like, I thought this is who you were. I thought you'd like this dystopian future. And Sam's like, we just talked about my baby, dude.
The human experience more than ever. And maybe it won't go that way. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Do you no? And that's some of the stuff we want to talk about. And thanks so much, man, for sitting down. Do you think your child will go to college? Do you think like, what do you kind of think that looks like?
Probably not. If I had to guess, like I think, well, I only went to half of college.
Did you drop out?
Yeah.
Dude, you guys all, I freaking dropped out. I didn't get shit. You dropped out. Wang dropped out. Zuckerberg dropped out. And probably a lot of other people.
And you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, hey, we're both here. So
Oh, it worked out fine.
And you. Oh my God.
God, you're right.
You know?
You're right. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm being self-defeating. Yeah. What does that look like when you think about that? Like, yeah, with AI, with so much new information coming online, right? And so much like data being collected and like information being carpooled and maybe, which is a term.
So you and I never grew up in a world that didn't have computers.
Right.
Like, and our parents were like, oh, there weren't computers, and then there were, and it was this big crazy adjustment. It took them a long time to figure it out. But to us, like, computers just always existed. They were just, I mean, maybe they were kind of new, but they were always around. And then, like, you know, a kid that is like, there was this video on YouTube I saw like maybe 12 years ago, something like that 14 years ago, that has really stuck with me. It was like a little baby in a dentist waiting room or something, picking up one of those old glossy magazines and going like this.
Oh, I remember that.
And to that kid, it was just like a broken iPad, because that kid had just like grown up in a world where like there were touch screens everywhere. And my kid will never grow up, will never ever be smarter than an AI.
Yep.
That will never happen.
That's fascinating. My kid will never, ever be smarter than an AI. That will never happen. Right? I've talked about this on this channel, that we are in this very rare slice in history, incredibly rare slice in history, where any of us, if you're conscious enough to watch the AI Learning Lab and demented enough to watch the AI Learning Lab, we get the privilege, and I think this is an absolute fucking privilege, of knowing what the world was like before AI, and we're going to know what the world is like after AI. We're the cusp generation of this transformation. And it is such an incredibly rare moment in history. And his kid is part of the generation that will never know what it's like to not have an entity, an AI entity that's smarter than humans. It's amazing. Unless it's implanted. Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, kid born a few years ago, they had a brief period of time. My kid never will be smarter. But also, they'll never know a world where like products and services aren't way smarter than them and super capable. They can just do whatever you need. And in that world, I think education's going to feel very different. I already think college is like maybe not working great for most people. But yeah, I think fast forward 18 years, it's going to look like a very, very different thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think there will, oh, here's that video right here, this kid.
Yeah. All right, I was wrong about the dentist. Or maybe there's a few of these.
He's like, somebody charge this magazine, he's yelling. How would you recommend to a parent right now to prepare their children for like an AI?
Yeah, that's good. Source Camp. Some of us have gone from pre-microwave to post-AI. Exactly. Or pre-video recorder. I remember we had this was 78 or 9. We had a Magnavox. It must have been like a 27 or 32 inch television. It was this giant white box with a TV in it, and on top of it was a VHS player that was, it was like the size of a trunk of a car, and the thing would come out of it. Some of us are about to go from pre-Jetsons to post-Jetsons. That's really good. God damn, this interview, like, I think Theo Vaughn is being smacked in the face here with the future is not the cliche he thought it was. He doesn't know what it is yet. But like, he's coming in with these preconceived notions about what the future is going to be like, and who who the overlords of that future are. Fascinating. Just fascinating.
My future, kind of like, are there certain curtails that you would start to put in now? Or there's certain like, adjustments where you like get them in a certain training or have them start to watch certain models of things online? Like, what is that?
I actually think the kids will be fine. I'm worried about the parents. If you look at the history of the world here, when there's a new technology, like people that grow up with it, they're always fluent. They always figure out what to do. They always learn the new kind of jobs. But if you're like a 50-year-old and you have to like kind of learn to do things in a very different way, that doesn't always work.
Yeah.
So I think the kids are going to be fine. I mean, I do have.
That's all of you. He's talking about you, you old fat people. Definitely not me, because I'm not old or fat. Shut up.
I do have worries about kids and technology. Like, I think this scrolling, the kind of like,
Silver Fox down, boy.
short video feed dopamine hit, it feels like it's probably messing with
Sharon Crawford, not me.
kids' brain development in a super deep way.
Mhm.
So it's not that I have no worries. I have like extremely deep worries about what technology is doing to kids. But in terms of kids' ability to like be prepared for the future and use a new technology, they seem really good at that.
Yeah.
Always through history.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, it's like if you just grow up with it, it's just like it's just totally normal. It's like having kneecaps or whatever. You're just kind of used to it.
You can't imagine the world where
It's like having kneecaps. Oh my God. This is just the most broken interview. It's so good. It's so good.
it doesn't exist. You just,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I remember when I was
You know what it is about Theo Vaughn is he's so sincere. Like he just the way his brain works, like the dots that he connects, it's fucking off. It's like a dude that huffed paint as a teenager trying to navigate the world.
in school, in like junior high, and Google first came out,
Mhm.
and all the teachers like freaked out, and they're like, "This is the end of education." Why do you have to memorize history facts in history class if you can just look them up instantly on the internet? You don't even have to learn to go to the library. And the answer is like, yeah, maybe memorization is less important, but with these new tools, you can think better, come up with new ideas, do new stuff. I'm sure the same thing happened with the calculator before.
Yeah.
And now this is just a new tool that exists in the tool chain.
And what about like, say if there is somebody though that's like learning history right now, like they just started their second year of
That's really
college. Oh, that Celsius, yeah, that thing will definitely, you won't be able to blink for a month, homie. That thing will, yeah, you'll sneeze and release fire.
You won't be able to blink for a month. He gave him an energy drink. Oh my God. Oh, something I wonder about is because I'm deep in AI, I don't come up with new, fresh perspectives, keep trying new things. That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, I think there's a couple of ways that you can look at that, Gareth. I mean, the other one is that maybe you're considering wider perspectives than you would have otherwise because you can travel so far knowledge-wise, laterally. But who knows?
5.0, dude, you'll freaking, are you guys at 4.5 already?
We're 4.5 already. 5.0 is, I think it's going to be great.
Oh, it'll come out fast. We had that Celsius too. I'm just saying
Maybe the researchers need it, not me, but, we'll get them some.
Yeah, that thing will get you there, man. So say there's somebody just, for example, like that's learning history right now. They're in their second year of college. They're taking history. Are there some subjects in like they're going to be a historian? Is that still a viable space of work as AI moves forward, do you think, honestly?
I assume there will be some version of it that is, I think it's very hard to predict exactly how something evolves. Or predict exactly what the jobs of the future are going to be. Like not that long ago, it would have been very hard to predict either of our jobs. If you go back 100 years, the idea of like this CEO of an AI company or a podcaster, probably would have been things that didn't seem to be the most obvious evolutions of the things people were doing at the time.
Yeah, you just seemed almost probably crazy even in trying to explain those to someone.
You would. And now, in fact, two of the job, I heard that the job that young people most want is some version of your job. The job that young people most want is to be, podcast influencer, YouTube. They want a YouTube channel, like whatever it is. They like 6-7-year-olds. They don't know how to describe it, but that's what they want. And a lot of people also want my job. They want to do like a startup, or they want to work on AI. And these just didn't exist.
Yeah.
So like the rate with which the new things come along is fast, and also trying to predict what they are. I don't know. The thing I say all the time is no one knows what happens next. It's like, we're going to figure this out. It's this weird emergent thing. Does the current job of a historian exist in the same way? I'll bet not quite. But another thing I believe is that humans are obsessed with other people. Like, we are so deeply wired to care about other people, to care about stories. And history, our own history, is extremely interesting to us. So I would say somehow or other, we're still going to care about that. There's going to be some kind of job doing that.
Man, that's cool. I guess when I take that avenue of thought, like, okay, there will still be this historian or somebody, it'll be some evolution of that, right? That does seem kind of cool to me, because there's a level of creativity in there. There's a level of like faith and spontaneity in there that I think is kind of exciting. So yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought about that. Sometimes I get stuck in this doomsday thing. Like, I just see like, like the history book closes and they're like, we have enough. We have all the history over here,
People used to say like, oh, there's no need for more music. We've made perfect music. Like, why does anyone need anyone to create anymore?
Yeah.
And that's obviously ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or they would say, there's that famous patent office quote, everything that humans ever possibly need has been invented. There's nothing left to do.
I have heard that. But here we are.
And like,
yep. And I know, Shadow, I saw your comment there about, let's pollute the environment even more. Yeah, I mean, listen. So these tools right now take a lot of energy. These tools are also going to help us solve energy problems, and they're going to help come up with new kinds of energy or new kinds of energy production. They're also going to get a lot more efficient over time. But they're not going to go away. Like, part of this channel is not to judge it good or bad, but just to say, if it's not going away, how do we deal with it? So that's what we're doing here.
Someone asked me the other day, like, how long is it until you can make like a AI CEO for OpenAI? And I was like, probably not that long. And they were like, well, aren't you really sad about that? And I was like, no, I think it's awesome. I'm for sure going to figure out something else to do. I'm excited to do that. Like, I think that's great.
Right. So you could create something that would have your job, but then you could do something else.
Totally.
But then how do you know that you'll still get paid for your job, I guess? Like,
well,
it's kind of a big question.
I kind of think that.
But yeah, I guess the framing of that question might be better. Like, say there are jobs that get curtailed by.
There will be some.
Okay.
I think it's important to be honest.
There will be some. There's going to be a lot. But what no one talks about is jobs going to be created. So we'll see where Sam goes with this. This is interesting.
It's about that. There will be some jobs that totally go away.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly, I think we will rely on the fact that people's desire for more stuff, for better experiences, for, a higher social status or whatever, that seems basically limitless. Human creativity seems basically limitless. And human desire to like be useful to each other and to connect with each other and do stuff for each other and focus on other people seems pretty limitless too. So I think throughout all of history, there have been these predictions like, we're gonna like all be on the beach and work an hour a day or hour a week or whatever, and we're gonna have unlimited wealth. And
I've never heard that one. I love that.
I mean, they used to say this. They used to say, like, the Industrial Revolution, people were like, we've just figured out how to automate like man's lot in life. There's nothing left to do. We're going to have these machines do all the work.
Makes sense, probably.
And you watch these machines doing all this stuff that only people used to physically do. And everybody panicked and said, there's going to be no more jobs. And we figured out new stuff to want. Now, here's an interesting thing. Mm-hmm. If you could go back to that Industrial Revolution time, and people before that were, really.
Which, by the way, I think the Industrial Revolution to me feels like the thing that is the closest parallel to what's going on with AI, where the Industrial Revolution augmented our physical strength. AI is augmenting our intellectual strength, our intelligence. And if you look at the absolute transformation that happened, from the late 19th century through the 20th century, like, that's about to happen with our intellect, right? So just like these machines got way stronger than any human, and we figured out other things to do, that's about to happen with our intellect. I think it's going to happen a lot faster than the transition in the Industrial Revolution, just because there's not so much physical stuff to do. And I think because of that, the transition is going to be really profound and terrifying.
On the grind.
Mhm.
Working
Yeah, exactly. Pate Mater, the Industrial Revolution didn't happen this fast. Exactly. Yeah, you had time from the day they invented the steam engine, this thing that went ka-dunk, 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 and could make a belt, go around like this, till when they put that steam engine into a tractor and then, made that tractor pull a plow, right? There were like years, decades in between those major chunks of things. But you did have, spans of 20 or 30 years where you had, massive amounts of new inventions that changed everything. So what will happen with massive info overload and organizing everyone sharing and doing research exponentially? Fascinating to think about and position for. Josh, that's a great question. Implicit in your question is that we humans are going to have to deal with the information overload. We may not, right? It might be the kind of thing where the AI is at any point, if any human needs anything, the AI either makes it or goes and finds it. And so I think information overload is what Google tried to solve 25 years ago, right? They said, hey, if we could index all of this information and we could make a little search box and we could do that well, then someone, rather than having to navigate by clicking on all these hyperlinks, they could just ask our thing and we'll tell them where it is in this giant information space. AI represents all of that information is now compressed into this magic box that we just get to tap into, and knowledge emerges out of it. And so while massive amounts of information are being created by AI, I don't think we're going to have to process all that much. I mean, your friends and coworkers that use AI to write those 20-page proposals for you that you then put into ChatGPT and distill it down into 5 bullet points? There'll be a lot of that.
super hard trying to kind of have enough food to survive. Go back to those people. Look at our jobs today. Would those people say we have real jobs? Or would they say you have unbelievable abundance, unbelievable wealth, so much food to eat, incredible luxury, and you guys are just playing a game to entertain yourselves? Is that a real job or not? And they would probably say, where they sit, what you guys do is not a real job. You guys are, you're too rich. You're wasting your time.
This is the argument that a lot of creatives are making right now, that if you just push a button and it generates something, that's not real creative, right? Is what he's talking about now, that, someone from the Industrial Revolution looking at what we do now, that's not real work.
You're trying to,
right? Real work is men lifting things.
Yeah, you guys are a couple of dang zest lords out there freaking playing Uno in the park or whatever. They would not, I don't think my grandfather would be like, you have a job. He would still be like, you need to get a job.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And when we look forward another 100 years at what people are doing, they'll probably think they're working very hard. It'll feel very satisfying, very intense to them. They're really they'll feel engaged. They'll be making people happy. They'll be creating value for each other. But if we could look forward that 100 years at those guys, do you think we would say they're working? Or man, you have AI doing everything for you. You're just trying to entertain.
Yeah, I could see. So it's like if AI ends up handling most of the tasks that we do now, what might become valuable is taking a walk with a human being. And so there might be professional hikers that just walk with other people, right? I just want to walk and hang out with someone, and I'm willing to pay for that. And that's a job. And there might be someone else that's just teaching juggling on a street corner might become a respectable job. We'll see.
yourselves.
Yeah, like, oh, you guys have it so easy. Right.
But I think that's beautiful. I think it's great that those people in the past think we have it so easy. I think it's great that we think those people in the future have it so easy.
Yeah, Valerie Cox, I hope life-work balance swings toward more life enjoyment. And that's kind of what I'm saying, that a lot of the tasks that we call work today, we take pride in doing our work, but a lot of the tasks that we do are mind-numbing, shitty tasks. Imagine if those mind-numbing, shitty tasks were done, handled. Assume we navigate through the money piece of this, right? Everyone's got to figure out how to get paid or whatever that looks like in the future. Assume we're going to navigate through that because we're humans and we adapt. And then what's on the other side of that? Well, we would probably start to prioritize things like life enjoyment. Well, what gives me more joy in life? Well, I like camping. Well, I like riding bikes. Well, I like doing this. Well, I like doing that. Maybe the things that seem like leisure, the thing we call leisure right now, which we shit all over, right? You only do leisure on the weekends. We don't do leisure for a job. We work for a job. Well, maybe that shifts in the future.
Like, that is the beautiful story of
Sharon Crawford.
You know, short
there's
vid-
a chance. Oh shit! I just moved something.
Celsius, yeah, that thing will definitely, you won't be able to blink.
a historian exist in the same way. I'll bet not quite. But another thing I believe is that humans are obsessed with other people. Like, we are so deeply wired to care about other people, to care about stories. And history, our own history, is extremely interesting to us. So I would say somehow or other, we're still going to care about that. There's going to be some kind of job doing that.
Man, that's cool. I guess when I take that avenue of thought, like, okay, there will still be this.
Live for. I like that, Rose. Live for the hobbies, the hobbification of humans. Yeah, like I think the point that they're both saying here, or that Sam's saying to him, is like, Theo, look at your job right now. Your job is to like sit and talk to people and let other people watch that. Like, someone from 100 years ago, that's not work. What are you doing? Go do something with your life, you fucking slacker, and get a haircut. Shave off that mullet.
Story or somebody's, it'll be some evolution of that, right? That does seem kind of cool to me because there's a level of creativity in there. There's a level of like faith and spontaneity in there that I think is kind of exciting. So yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought about that. As soon as I get stuck in this doomsday thing, like I just see like, you know, like the history book closes and they're like, we have enough. We have all the history over here, you know?
You know, people used to say like, oh, there's no need for more music. We've made perfect music. Like, why does anyone need anyone to create anymore?
Yeah.
And that's obviously ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or they would say there's that famous patent office quote, everything that humans ever possibly need is abundance, unbelievable wealth, so much food to eat.
That space, right? Like the movement that happens with AI and with just technology, which will advance.
And when we look forward another 100 years at what people are doing, they'll probably think they're working very hard. It'll feel very satisfying, very intense to them. They're really like, they'll feel engaged. They'll be making other people happy. They'll be creating value for each other. But if we could look forward that 100 years at those guys, do you think we would say they're working, or like, man, you have like AI doing everything for you? You're just trying to entertain yourselves.
Yeah, like, oh, you guys have it so easy. Right.
But I think that's beautiful. I think it's great that
Jeff Flanagan, George Jetson, I'm so tired of pushing this button. Like on Star Trek. Yeah, exactly. Shane saw, I blindly trust AI will fix a lot of things. I don't have faith that humans will allow being fixed. Well, yeah, humans are always going to be messy. Humans are always going to be messy, but a lot of the fucking angst of the world right now is the nature of the work we do. Like, people are stressed out, and like a lot of our economy is based on complexity, and a lot of people's jobs are dealing with complexity, right? So like, if you think about, I don't know, an insurance adjuster, their job is to make it as complicated as possible to try to get someone to process their claim so that they don't have to pay out the money so they can make more profit. Like, by design, it is overly complicated. The US healthcare system is overly complicated by design. So as many people as possible get paid in the process of making you well. And then on the other side of that equation is entities trying not to pay for any of that, right? And making it as complicated as possible. So as many people as possible can take a toll out of the transaction of getting you better, right? That's most of our society today. The global economy is based on either evolved complexity or designed complexity. AI is going to simplify a lot of that, and that starts to shift things, and maybe we become less shitty to each other.
Those people in the past think we have it so easy. I think it's great that we think those people in the future have it so easy. Like, that is the beautiful story of us all contributing to human progress and everybody's lives getting better and better.
Say we're able to get to that space, right? Like the movement that happens with AI and with just technology, which will advance quicker, I think, which is one thing that AI feels like to me. It's a fast forward button on technology and on possibility, because information can be quantified so quick, and a lot of like more menial tasks, even though they're not really menial in people's lives, but menial hypothetically, can be done quicker to get a lot of the framework for things done fast. But how will people survive? Like, how do we adjust our structure of finance, of like, if some people own the companies that have the AI, and then a lot of people are just using the AIs and the agents created by AIs to do things for them, how will society, like societal members, still be able to financially survive? Will there still be money? What is that?
This is a great question. This is the question no one wants to ask because they don't want to hear the answer, right? What the fuck happens? We get to that future where AI does everything. How are people getting paid? It'll be interesting to hear Sam's answer. There were some interesting posts on YouTube. Josh Groves, that's why I made RightNode an app. It shouldn't be this way. Stop the madness. Make it easier. Bill Gates said he hires lazy people because they find the easiest route to they find the easiest route. AI can help us with this art form. This is why master synthesizers and system thinkers will win. Like you always say, Kyle, fighting for the future. Yep. The hardest problem in therapy was always convincing people to loosen their grip on the problems they have to grab different ones. Interesting. If AI takes away the financial requirements, there's still the human need for control. Interesting. Fascinating. This is cool. I'm digging this. Listen, this is a non-standard, it's movie night at the Learning Lab. I'm fascinated by this interview because, again, I think this is the most unlikely pairing I could have imagined in 2025. And I love that Theo Vaughn, you can tell he's not played with AI. I love that he's coming in with these assumptions and he's asking the questions everyone's probably wondering. Really, really good.
Does that make any sense? That
It
question
totally makes sense.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know. Neither does anybody else, but I'll tell you my current best guess.
Okay.
Well, I'll say two guesses. One, I think it is possible that we put, GPT-7 or whatever in everybody's ChatGPT. Everybody gets it for free. And everybody has access to just this like crazy thing such that everybody can be more productive, make way more money. It doesn't actually matter that you don't like own the cluster itself, but everybody gets to use it. Mm-hmm. And it turns out even getting to use it is enough that people are like getting richer faster and more distributed than ever before. That could happen. I think that really is possible. There's another version of this where the most important things that are happening are these systems are discovering new cures for diseases, new kinds of energy, new ways to make spaceships, whatever. And most of that value is accruing to the like cluster owners, us, just so that I'm not dodging the question here. And then I think
an AI cluster owner is an individual or entity responsible for the design, deployment, management, and ongoing maintenance of an AI compute cluster. So Altman's saying it's possible that because the AI will produce all this remarkable stuff, that the people with those clusters will basically hoard the compute, and they'll do all the fancy good shit and keep all the money. So let's see how he answers it.
Society will very quickly say, okay, we got to have some new economic model where we share that and distribute that to people.
To be honest, I've never heard of Theo Vaughn. Yeah, if you're not kind of deep in the comedy world, he's an acquired taste. I think he's funny as fuck, but like a lot of times, I don't know that he knows why he's as funny as he is. He just sees the world in this very different way, and that he's interviewing Sam Altman. Like, I want to know how this fucking thing came about. Although right at the beginning, apparently they were both at the inauguration, and Theo Vaughn's chair fell apart right in front of Sam Altman. So I think that's how they met. Was Theo Vaughn crashing to the ground at the Trump inauguration.
I used to be really excited.
What about people's competitive nature? I'm not sure how you can completely level the playing field. So you know what, Rose? I don't think you have to. I don't think human nature goes away, right? I think people will find new ways to compete. If the AI, like one of the things that Sam was just talking about here before, where he said, if everyone's got access to ChatGPT 7, Sam Altman about a year and a half or 2 years ago talked about this concept of universal basic compute. And you've probably heard of universal basic income, where, you know, basically you take the profit from all these machines, you tax these frontier model companies, you take, you know, some percentage of the profits, you distribute that back out to the people that lost their jobs, right? That's one model, universal basic income. Sam was talking about the concept of universal basic compute. And what he was basically saying is you give every person some amount of compute per month that maybe that amount of compute is the equivalent of having 10 employees. And these are like 10 of the best employees you could ever have, or 100 employees. That every human being could have 100 employees, and those employees would do anything that human wanted them to do. Well, some humans are going to be ambitious, and they're going to say, like, I want more than 100 employees. I want 1,000 employees, or I want 10,000 employees. And then other people are going to be like, I don't really have use for 100 employees. I don't care. So why don't you just pay me what it's worth to have these 100 employees go work for you? Right. And so that's the model he's talking about, where if everyone's got access to these super powerful things, I think human dynamics still play out in that. Some people are going to be more ambitious. Some are going to be less. People are still going to compete, but we're just going to have different tools of the game to be able to be able to compete. And then if we do move to the hobbyification of humans, where, you know, hobbies become as important as jobs, well, then maybe we get into competitive needlepoint, right? There's the national needlepoint, speed needlepoint competition. Like, I think human nature is still human nature. It's just where we put our energy is going to shift.
About things like UBI, I still am kind of excited, like universal basic income, where you just give everybody money.
Yeah, you hear that term a lot. Yeah, universal basic income. Yeah, I heard you and Rogan talk about that too a while back.
I still am kind of excited about that, but I think people really need agency. Like, they really need to feel like they have a voice in governing the future and deciding where things go. And I think if you just like say, okay, AI is going to do everything, and then everybody gets like a, you know, dividend from that, it's not going to feel good. And I don't think it actually would be good for people. So I think we need to find a way where we're not just like, if we're in this world where we're not just distributing money or wealth, like, actually, I don't just want like a check every month. What I would want is like a ownership share in whatever the AI creates, so that I feel like I'm participating in this thing that's going to compound and get more valuable over time. So I sort of like universal basic wealth.
By the way, if you're curious about this whole topic of universal basic income, universal basic compute, you should follow a guy on YouTube named David Shapiro. I talk about him a lot. And he's got his whole new thing recently is post-labor economics. He's got a whole model for this, where you basically bring things down to the municipal level, and you basically use AI to exploit the resources in your local region, and everybody participates in that. It's a fascinating model, but we're going to obviously need to figure something out. There's no good answer for this, but if you want someone who's thinking deeply about it, David Shapiro.
Better than universal basic income. And I think I don't like basic either. I want like universal extreme wealth for everybody. But even then, like, I think what people really want is the agency to kind of co-create the future together. And in a world where it's like the AI is mostly coming up with the new scientific inventions, at least we've got to still have humans like invent the new culture and have that be a very distributed thing.
Okay, I guess I see what you're saying, but would that be like an American thing, do you think? Like, since they were invented here, or do you think, I'm just wondering, what does that look like, you know?
The economic model of it all, or the whole thing?
Yeah, or is there a dividend of the company that's then is divided up between the masses, sort of?
I mean, a crazy idea, but in the spirit of crazy ideas, is that if the world, there's like roughly 8 billion people in the world, if the world can generate like 8 quintillion tokens per year, if that's the world, actually, let's say the world can generate 20 quintillion tokens per year.
Tokens of?
Like each word generated by an AI.
Okay.
Just making up a huge number here.
Okay.
We'll say, okay, 12 of those go to, the normal capitalistic system, but 8 of those, 8 quintillion tokens, are going to get divided up equally among 8 billion people. So everybody gets 1 trillion tokens. And that's your kind of...
He's talking, this is his universal basic compute idea right here.
Universal basic wealth globally. And people can sell those tokens. Like, if I don't need mine, I can sell them to you. We could pool ours together for some like new art project we want to do. But instead of just like getting a check, everybody on Earth is getting like a slice of the world's AI capacity. And then we're letting the like massively distributed human ingenuity and creativity and economic engine do its thing. I mean, that's like a crazy idea. Maybe it's a bad one, but that's the kind of thing that I think sounds like someone should think about it more.
One of the big fears is like purpose, right? Like human purpose, like work gives us purpose. And also I think the idea that we are the ones advancing humanity gives us purpose. Like we are like we have some control over our own destiny, maybe gives us this sense of purpose. And it feels like that we would lose a sense of purpose, or that purpose would be adjusted. Like if AI is to really, continue to advance so quickly, it feels like our sense of purpose would start to really disappear. Have you had thoughts about that?
I worry about this a lot. I think people have worried about this with every big technological revolution.
Got it.
But I agree that this time it feels different. Like,
okay, yeah, because if say you had an axe and some guy came out with a saw, you're like,
fine.
You're like, yeah, that's.
Or even if they come out with like a robot that cuts the tree down, it still feels fine. But like creativity, intelligence, I think cuts so deeply at the core of whatever we are and how we value ourselves. One example we can look at this right now, I think one area where AI is having a big impact is on how people write software for a living. And AI is really good at that. It's really changed what it means to be a software developer. I haven't heard any of those software developers say that they, even though their job is different, that they don't have meaning. They still enjoy it. They're operating at a higher level. And I'm hopeful, at least for a long time, 100 years from now, who knows? But I'm hopeful that that's what it'll feel like with AI, is even if we're asking it to solve huge problems for us, even if we ask it to say like, go discover a cure for cancer, there will still be a lot of things to do in that process that feel valuable to a person.
Mm-hmm.
You're still asking it the questions. You're still like helping guide it. You're still framing it, or whatever it is. You're still like talking to the world about it. And I think all of human history suggests that we find a way to put ourselves at the center of the story and feel really good about it. Like, if you kind of think like, we used to think that the Earth was the center of the solar system. And then we're like, very human-centric view. And then we're like, okay, fine, the sun is the center of the solar system, but the solar system is at least the center of the galaxy. And now, oh man, there's a lot of galaxies. And oh man, now we're this like tiny speck in this like very huge universe. And yet we still manage to feel all like a lot of main character energy. And so I somehow think even in a world.
Did you hear what he said? That was great. We still feel like we still feel like we have a lot of main character energy. That even though the more insignificant we realize we are, we still find a way to put ourselves at the center of the story. I think that's great. Yeah, that's the thing. The thing that baffles me about doomers that say that AI is going to erase our meaning is they talk about humans as if they're static, like our current point of view is always going to be our current point of view. Shit changes, you adapt to it, you shift your point of view, right? Like we're going to adapt. Like humans are going to adapt. We're not going to not adapt. That's a thing I've never gotten about that particular argument.
AI is doing all of this stuff that humans used to do. We are going to find a way in our own telling of the story to feel like the main characters. And I think in an important sense, we will be. And that's really good. I also probably already today, there could be a very compelling version of two AIs talking like this.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would want to watch that.
Right.
Like, I think I really do feel deeply wired to like.
This is an important point. So when Big Blue beat Gary Kasparov at chess, the predictions were no one will ever play chess again, and we'll just have machines playing chess against each other. And guess what? Nobody gives a shit about two machines playing chess against each other. You know what all of that did? It made chess more popular, and it made the appreciation of humans that are really good at it more appreciated. Right?
Care about the real person behind it. I think that's like deep in the biology.
Right. Yeah, that's the part I think a lot of times it's like, even though you can get into like these wormholes of like possibility and these fear holes of possibility or kind of this dystopian ideas, that in the end, I'm like, I'd rather probably watch something that's real. It's like, because I'm real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to talk really to a robot. Yeah, I think in the end, there's going to be a part of you that wants to continue to just talk to humans. Do you, what's like one of your fears? Like, what's a fear you have of AI? Like, if you have like a fearful space that it could go, like, I know you mentioned it a little bit.
This morning, I was testing our new model and I got emailed a question that I didn't quite understand. And I put it in the model, this GPT-5, and it answered it perfectly. And I really kind of sat back in my chair and I was just like, oh man, here it is moment. And I got over it quickly. I got busy onto the next thing. But it was like, it's what kind of we were talking about. I felt like useless relative to the AI and this thing that I felt like I should have been able to do and I couldn't, and it was really hard, but the AI just did it like that.
Yeah.
It was a weird feeling.
Yeah, I think that feeling right there, that's the feeling a lot of people kind of have, like, when does it happen? What's going to happen? But I think some of it is, it's like, it's hard to conceptualize until you're further along.
I'm totally. I don't think we know quite how that's going to.
But Sam actually answered it. He said he had this weird moment where he felt inadequate as a human, and then he moved on, right? Like it's like, that's the thing is like, yes, we're going to confront these things that we've never had to confront before. And then we're going to go, oh, okay, well, I guess I don't have to do that anymore. And then we get to choose what to do next, right? Like, I don't know.
I feel you just have to like approach it step by step. Another thing I'm afraid of, and we had a real problem with this earlier, but it can get much worse, is just what this is going to mean for users' mental health. There's a lot of people that talk to ChatGPT all day long. There are these sort of new AI companions that people talk to like they would a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And we were talking earlier about how it's probably not been good for kids to like grow up like on the dopamine hit of scrolling,
yeah, for sure,
or whatever.
Yeah, do you think that how do you keep like AI from having that same effect, like that negative effect that social media really has had?
I'm scared of that. I don't have an answer yet. I don't think we know quite the ways in which it's going to have those negative impacts. But I feel for sure it's going to have some, and I hope we can learn to mitigate it quickly.
Can AIs, can they pull up pornography and stuff like that too, or no?
Sure.
Oh my God. God, I didn't know that.
Theo Vaughn talks a lot about sex addiction, porn addiction, and stuff like that. So he just asked the question. Everyone in America is hoping to know: can they pull up porn? Oh my God, that's funny. I wonder if brain implants will become similar to getting braces. Probably so. The way that Neuralink, the robots that they've made to implant those things are fairly automated. I have a strong suspicion that human brain computer interfaces are not going to require implantation for super long.
No, it's fine. But I don't even need to know that. I'm going to have that stricken from my own record.
All right, we'll stop it right there. I'm going to have that stricken from my own record. Oh man. Well, so that's about the first half hour of a 90-minute interview. So I'm obviously going to go watch the rest of that. You should too. I just like it feels important to me. It feels like a the Today Show moment for AI. It really does. That moment where Theo Vaughn, where he goes, don't you think we're just going to be growing babies in vats? And then Sam Altman's like, that's kind of weird, dude. And he's like, oh, I thought you would like it. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Wow. All right, there you have it. Man, that's a good interview. That's a good interview. The Theo Vaughn interview with Joaquin Phoenix is also similarly good because they're just both uncomfortable human beings trying to communicate. And they keep sort of blowing each other away in terms of their humanity, and they like respect each other's humanity. And this one is similarly awkward where they're just in, these two guys are in such different planets. They're like they're not on the same planet. And yet they're trying to work it out. Yeah, it's fascinating. I saw Source Camp said she has a strong suspicion they're going to become friends. Yeah, they probably will. And I promise you this, that Theo Vaughn leaves the OpenAI offices having played with AI probably more than he ever has, and maybe understanding it in a different way. Absolutely fascinating. Whew. ChatGPT, you've talked all day. I have a headache. You need to go outside. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Sam is much more human than Zuck. Yeah, glad he's in the lead. Yeah, every time I see one of these things with Zuck, I'm just like, dude, fucking get a spokesperson. Like Sam is smart enough to know, like he's at least smart enough to know that he's got to acknowledge the scary shit. Zuck just doesn't. Zuck's just like, we're going to make a bigger computer. It's going to be good. We're going to put it in the metaverse. It's going to be awesome. And he always seems disconnected from reality. Sam at least has the skill. He's at least smart enough to understand he's got to acknowledge reality. Now, whether or not his company takes actions consistent with that, that remains to be seen. Absolutely fascinating. Other thoughts? Should be a very interesting autumn. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I got to go watch the rest tomorrow. Pretty funny. Yeah, I know. Me too. Oh, careful with the corn word. Oh, you can't say PORN on TikTok? Really? You can't even say the word? Unbelievable. Well, we won't have to deal with it after September. So there you have it. What do I like on Ronin? What you like on Ronin? I don't know what that means. Now I need to go watch the rest of it. One more plug for B2B. Oh, yeah. Let's do. So next week, people, next week, do. Do me a favor. So next week I'm doing a 5-day back to basics AI crash course. Doesn't cost a thing. It's basically just like show up and I'll keep doing this shit. Except instead of movie night, we're going to do 5 different nights. First night's going to be, what is AI? How does it work? Why is it a big deal? Why is it historically like something I've seen before? Really get your head around what it is. Tuesday night is going to be ChatGPT 101. Like, what is ChatGPT? What are the different models? What can you do with it? Like, I don't know if you knew this. Did you know that ChatGPT can see? You can upload a picture of a whiteboard and it'll understand everything on the whiteboard, including pictures and words and context. Did you know that ChatGPT can talk? You can just have a full-on conversation with it. Did you know that it can use tools, that it can do multi-step reasoning? Reasoning people will tell you that it's not actually reasoning, but it can do multi-step internal prompting, let's call it. And it can use tools and write Python and do all sorts of crazy shit like that. So that's Tuesday night. Wednesday night is going to be a creative night. We're going to be looking at creative tools and creativity and making images and making video and making music and making sound effects and voice synthesis and all that sort of shit. Thursday night's going to be, we'll bring it all together and solve like complicated use cases that require multiple tools coming together. And then Friday night's going to be just an open-ended Q&A to talk about all the stuff that we've learned during the week. So here's my request. My request is go to YouTube right now and subscribe to the AI Learning Lab. So it's at Learning Lab-AI. I wasn't quick enough to get AI Learning Lab. So, and by the way, the crash course next week is free. It's free to subscribe to the AI Learning Lab. The course next week is free. I think that the course we will probably make available on demand in the future. But if you just come next week live, you get it for free. Okay. But go subscribe to YouTube now. And then next week, the sessions will all start at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Wednesday. We'll have to tell my seniors to tune in. Yes, bring your seniors. So that's my other request. So the first request is go subscribe to the AI Learning Lab on YouTube. The second request is tell people in your lives. Like, I know that there were some people in here earlier who are, AI haters. Come as an AI hater. Like, at least, here's my request. Here's the thing about this channel. What you will not get, what you will get on this channel is a lot of optimism about the possibility of AI. What you're not going to get a lot of from me is the technology itself good or bad? Is it ethical or not? Was it trained illegally or not? Those are all really important debates, but that's not what this channel is about. What this channel is about is this is a profoundly powerful technology that's not going away. And it's getting better dramatically fast. And if it's not going away, and if it's evolving incredibly quickly, then you only have 2 choices. You can learn about it or not. And there's a lot of people right now choosing to not learn about it. It takes too much energy. It hallucinates. It's stealing from artists. And they're sitting on the sidelines with their arms crossed. My deep, deep request is let's get as many people as possible who are sitting on the sidelines to at least understand what it is and what it makes possible. Because what it is, when used well, is it's an amplifier of you. It's really good at taking your ideas and getting them out of your head and into the world quickly and more powerfully, and then expanding those ideas and then amplifying those ideas and then spreading those ideas to different outputs. It is incredibly empowering. It is incredibly inspiring. But you literally cannot understand that without using it. So here's the good thing. You could come next week, start the week hating AI, learn all about it, and then at the end of the week, still hate AI and never use it again. Cool. But if you're just on the sidelines, assuming you know what it is, assuming you understand its motivations, it doesn't have motivations. It's just a reflector. It's just reflecting you. Whatever you put in it, it reflects back at you in this amplified, magnified way. So my request is tell people about this. Let's get some people here, okay? So that's my second request. Here's my third request. My third request is join the AI Salon. So the AI Salon is a place where we can continue the conversation. After these nightly things, we can share things, we can talk to one another, but you can also meet people. Connecting with other people in the face of all this change is probably the single most important thing you can do. Yeah, you got to learn AI tools. Yeah, you got to get fluent. Yeah, you got to become ready for AI, all that sort of shit. But it's connecting with other people who are thinking about this stuff thoughtfully, creatively, ethically, that will open a whole new world for you. So if you go to community.thesalon.ai or do the little QR code there, go join. All right? Beautiful. Beautiful people. Fantastic. Shout out to Gwen Chaffetz for co-hosting the AI Readiness Project with me today. Great job, Gwen. And I don't know if Mr. K's here, but Mr. K was our special guest today, and he did great. It was a really good episode. So if you want to see that, you can go to AIReadinessProject.com, and you can see the recording of it. It was really good. So anyway, so thank you, Gwen. All right, I'm going to get on out of here. I hope you had fun tonight watching Theo Vaughn. I think this is the last 40 years where we'll have babies in human bodies. And Sam Altman, huh? Danielle wants to know if I played with Pika Social yet. I played with it a little bit last night, mostly just flicking through other people's stuff. I haven't made my own things yet. So I have it. It's installed. Code worked. Thank you. And then we will I'll play with it, and then I'll form some opinion on it sometime this week. So anyway, all right, everybody. Hope you had a good time, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. Yeah, today's Wednesday. All right, peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.